For what purpose does the gentleman from Texas seek recognition?
I strike the last word.
Gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I very much appreciate my friend from Texas, her comments and attitude that is extremely helpful. But it is terribly unfortunate that we are here. It is consistent with taking up a bill that is extremely one-sided, extremely political, and ignores and diminishes and demeans the violence against people who happen to be what people now call conservative, at one time would be considered middle of the road. And to have anyone categorize Mr. Buck's amendment as pernicious, meaning highly injurious, destructive, even deadly, that's very pernicious in and of itself. We ought to be working judiciously on the Judiciary Committee to help bring America together. But one of the things that helps divide America is when Congress takes such incredibly one-sided approach and ignores and diminishes and demeans the injuries to another major part of America. It further divides America. And I know this committee has spent a lot of time in the last year plus talking about Russia and the Russian efforts. Look, make no mistake, leaders of Russia would love to see America fall, especially Putin. He deeply regrets the loss of the Soviet Empire. He blames America and would love to see carrying out of what Khrushchev said would happen, that we would fall from within without them having to fire a shot. So the fact is, Russian leaders want America divided. And we have seen over and over bills brought up that divide America, that show much of America that there is a two-tier justice system that this committee doesn't seem to want to deal with. That if you are of one persuasion, you are above the law. You can be top of the FBI and commit crimes and have people who are co-conspirators decide that your classification level of what you've leaked or stolen or removed is at such a low level, you don't have to face punishment. I mean, it is incredible what we have seen in the way of two-tier justice, and it has divided America. So efforts to divide America like this bill does really play into exactly what Russian leaders want to see. They want us divided. This helps divide America. You would think the storied history of this committee, going back to greats like Daniel Webster, would cause us to say violence against anyone is inappropriate. Provoking words or provoking hats are not a defense to physical violence. We should be shouting from the rooftops. We should be using this committee to denounce violence against anyone and not demean those who are victims of violence from those on the left. Just not ignore that like we are doing in this bill. Mr. Buck's amendment helps address that. It helps this committee be more fair. And as the gentleman from Colorado points out, he's glad to amend that if there's offensive language, but let's don't forget that there continues to be violence against conservatives in this country. Now, I've had no problem as a judge sentencing people, sending them to prison, sentencing them to death, and it didn't matter who the victim was. It didn't matter what their race was. Violence was violence, and it needed to be punished. And that's the way this committee ought to be approaching violence, not taking a political one-sided stand and demeaning all the victims of people on the left. That's why this amendment needs to be adopted so this committee can at least do something right. I yield back.